I think if it's your first time, it's really easy to be intimidated by the students arriving and trying to remember their names and kind of greet them where they're at. But I think the important part is just to smile. Things like high fives can be successful, just trying to get that initial reaction. Getting in the door, that's the hardest part. From there, they start to open up. And I think just literally overcoming maybe my own fears and just replacing that with a smile has made all the difference. So here's a little bit of the flute. Yeah, cool. That's kind of neat, huh? I'm gonna have her do it one more time. Look how she takes a breath in and she's gonna play with putting air over the top of the flute. Baritone? Okay. All right, very good. So you're gonna stay with Kirby there, okay? I think the important part, especially early on, is to embrace the chaos, that it's going to sound different than a normal rehearsal. We're so used to and how we're trained that we want silence and we want there to be listening to instructions and we want there to be, you know, here's a series of details, now play that back. But sounds are what we're looking for early on. And literally just being a part of that makes it a success.
So, listen, try on the same note and listen. Up, there it is.
What can be a bit of a challenge for the mentor students is when they realize that maybe the normal types of communication aren't as effective. Or maybe they're not seeing the response. Oftentimes they might close down, maybe look at the ground. At some point they will hear. And I think what we always tend to forget is that there's a power in positive peer pressure. Like when they say, hey, I'm going to try it, would you be willing to try it? They may say no for the first 10 times, but then all of a sudden they'll say yes. Because they say, well, there's other people trying it, so I might try it as well. So I think repetition is the key.
Your turn, Goggin.
Your turn.
Your turn, Goggin. Hit it a few times.
You know, I think this program's serving a lot of purposes. For my students specifically, they're learning what it's like to learn an instrument from the very, very first stages. You know, that's what it's all about, is just keep trying it. You know?
I'm trying to remember what I had to do when I was learning, but I also remembered I inputted it very differently.
Yep. I think it's also important for them to make these connections with students that are on our campus that maybe we wouldn't have interacted with otherwise. I believe the band room can be a place, and any music room can be a place where students feel welcome, regardless of their academic level or where they're at in this life. And I think it's important for my students to be a part of that community. I think it's humbling. I think it's something that it kind of makes us realize how lucky we are at times and the talents that we have. And I think any time in life where you get to give that talent away, I think it's just an important step. I think it's an important process for these young students. If I was to give some advice to someone considering this for the first time, I would say that for one, the conversations that you have with the administration and other faculty, they may be a little bit uncomfortable with it at first because it might be outside of the norm. It might involve time during the middle of the day or before or after. It might be different. But I promise you from my experiences, not only do they support it eventually, they're the cheerleaders for it. They're the advocates for it. And all of a sudden this is turning into something that is an example for the community. And I think that's what music needs to be. I think that's what music should be. And I think what I've learned is that this program can take all of us outside of our comfort zone, and then that's when we learn something pretty special about ourselves.